Hello there everyone and welcome back. I had a lot of fun with Tyranids, at least with the Massive Claw, and even though that was a little bit rough with my Drukhari matches, I feel like I had a bit of a... I was approaching with the wrong philosophy, I felt like, since the torpedoes single-handedly is what murdered me there, and since I didn't take them as seriously as I could have, especially since I failed to dodge them repeatedly with my rushes, that might have gone better if I had tried to outlast my opponents, which is something you would not expect with something with the ridiculous firepower of the Eldari. But that may have been the proper approach, and hell, I was wondering if maybe after the match, if going with Wrecking Ball or something useful like that, or hell, Drool Cannon could have some effect too, might have been a better choice. The reason I'm thinking the Wrecking Ball is I think it will actually knock their ship off course and maybe even turn it around, which I don't need to tell you how useful that could be, since it's supposed to automatically aim at the target I'm trying to go after, or at least targeting. So I want to feel like at least against a battleship it should hit. There is a little bit of deviation to its accuracy, even if it is just a click and fire ability now. But I'm going to go back to the Tyranids really soon, because I want to play more with them in the Strangle Tentacles, but let's do something simple, let's do something fun, especially since we may still have a good handful of newer players. And as we kind of seen with the Orc and... I can't remember who my first two opponents were. It was Orcs and maybe Imperial Navy. I couldn't for the life of me tell you, but I think that would add more frustration than actually a good time, so I'm hoping going with my good old Lance-centric type of fleet may help alleviate that some. But with 4 cruisers with torpedoes, that probably means I could still kill them really quickly, especially if they don't know how to deal with the Novacans. But at the very least, I'm hoping it'll add for more entertaining type of matches for everyone involved. But afterwards, I think my next video is I'm going to jump back into the Asiani, or at least the Eldari, Corsairs or Asiani. Not quite decide which one I want to focus on yet, since I honestly can't remember when's the last time I even played against Asiani as a whole, outside when I got the mirror matches when I was playing as them. Either way, that is in the future, the near future. So let's play with our torpedoes and ramming spurs, shall we? Alright, we're starting right off with a mirror match, which I guess shouldn't be too much of a surprise since it seems like Imperial Navy are the more popular type of fleets we go up against. Which I kind of find funny because I almost feel like Imperial Navy, maybe the Tau Empire, and what would be another easy type of simplistic faction? I know there's a third one that might be simplistic. I just can't quite think of it. Maybe Chaos. Chaos is at least designed to be easy to understand. Maybe hard to win with due to their lack of heavy burst damage type of weaponry. But I guess they're simple enough to learn and control, since they are almost equivalent to how the Imperial Navy functions essentially. But I was trying to come up with another faction that might fit that equation, but couldn't come up with anything. I think Tau though do fit pretty well too. They're a little more different since they're supposedly going to die really quickly if they get rammed or at least get in boarding range due to their weaker crew. And of course just lesser hit point pool, but firing secret missiles and bombers you would think would be pretty straightforward to do. Just maybe the timing to have your fighters screen for you might be the tricky part, especially when you're committing to a long range engagement. And they'll learn quick enough that they shouldn't be firing at seeker missiles, at least when they're close to gas clouds. Now with that said, how do I want to deploy here? It's a standard mirror match, so I'm probably going to take my time. My opponent sadly has the 3 objectives if they want to try and play the objective-based game. So I'm just going to try and play it by ear. Just harass them, chip them down, since I should be better at long-range fighting, and then we'll work from there. And I gotta make sure the battleship at least draws most of the fire, ideally, and not get completely isolated in the process because of its slower speed and mobility. So like with the Custodian with my Cao Yang fleet, this is the bait, but I kind of want to keep it arm's length for when... Let's see, oh, I didn't group my frigates, that's also a terrible thing.
Changing course.
And also have it like hang back so maybe the Novacan can be useful. So 5 frigates. They have all their levels in, so this is not an inexperienced fleet at the very least. And 5 ships. With 5 frigates, what does that tell me? It's possible they could be like 5 Avengers, and then they, instead of a 6th Avenger, they decide to go with a bunch of frigates. Which doesn't really make a lot of sense with Avengers, since they are close-range firefighters. But if they are using lances, maybe they're Vengeance, maybe they're Armageddons, that might make a little more sense, due to the need of having vision. We will know in time. At least getting us fighters to detect most of their fleet will help me plan this out.
Heading acknowledged.
Now, do I want to fire torpedoes? I have 6 charges for crying out loud, so let me actually do that. Prepare for a crisscross. I like this formation, especially when you're firing directly at them, but that may not be the most convenient.
Enemy sighted. Ship ready.
Although I should have fired it the other way. Regular torpedoes and then melt us in back.
Ship ready.
And what do we have? Oh, they are Avengers. With 2 Dominators, okay.
Seized a strategic area.
So close range powerhouse,
Coordinates
but
acknowledged.
I can deal with this some. I just gotta reveal them when they get in the gas cloud.
Your orders?
And also keep in mind how these torpedoes hit.
The enemy has
Not very
seized a
well.
strategic area.
It's a simple answer there. And we already saw upgrades, so armor piercing
Wait your
ammo,
command.
all that good stuff.
Engaging engines. We serve.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Oh, I saw it turned on assist focus fire.
Engaging.
You scanning me does not really do much.
Setting course. Burn retros.
So that's fine, just kill the frigate off. Let them do what they need to. Hopefully I could get damage on these frigates pretty quickly. Because now I'm just going to evade.
Maximum burn.
While I cripple this thing down.
Aye, Admiral. For the Emperor.
Now remember, these do have Novacans, so that's something to be mindful of.
Ship ready.
But at least they're getting separated some.
Head full.
Only 2 Novacans, so
Underway.
You
shield
have
damage
seized
is
a
going to be
strategic
mitigated heavily here.
Fury interceptors in flight.
Oh, and I did get hit by some of the Novacans, but again, only
We
shields.
wait your command.
That's fine. That will get revealed in a moment, and I'll continue to pummel it. Just gotta watch the heading.
Maximum burn.
And ideally, force the shields to stay down some more. Ah, never. Okay, I thought you took more damage than I originally thought.
Burn retros.
And what I want to do also is get ready for ramming if they are going to separate themselves like this.
Heading acknowledged. All ahead full.
Evade damaging them.
Your orders?
Be mindful they don't. The Dominators do not have ramming spurs, so that's a big deal for me as well.
Understood. Maximum
And we're
burn.
dealing with this Avenger really damn well.
Course engaged.
Now evade the Novacan is all I want.
All ahead full.
Perfect.
We serve.
I could not ask for much more. Dominators are going in.
Your orders?
Now this is not going to be pretty. If I did this right. Ooh, I can't wait. Ah,
Course engaged.
it feels like it should have done a lot more, I'm not gonna lie.
Execute high energy turn.
I feel robbed.
Heading acknowledged.
But we have ramming still. And I have Culexus Assassin as another bonus, so keep that in mind.
Retros. We serve. Ordnance acknowledged.
Sadly, I think... Nope, that's not going to kill my shields. Not much, anyway.
Aye, Admiral.
But... let's try to get out of this disruption bomb and murder these ships. Because I have torpedoes.
Damage team, begin repairs now.
They're about to take an ass ton of... I got too close. I didn't get close enough, or... I got too close is what I mean to say.
Execute high energy turn.
And you have supercharged void shield, so gotta keep that in mind.
Retros. Engaging engines.
You have accumulated 25% of strategic points. The enemy has accumulated
Alright,
25%
get boosting,
of
dodge the
strategic
plasma bomb.
points.
Kill the flagship ideally. With the supercharged void shield.
Ship ready. Retros. Your orders?
And ram it with the spurs, because that's what I'm good at.
We serve. We wait your command.
And
Understood.
yeah, I should keep trying to ram this flagship ideally. They don't have ramming spurs of their own, so I should be okay. I'm just doing a terrible job, I'm realizing, boarding.
Ship ready. Engaging target.
I have rally, I'm just not in range.
Assault crews report success.
But maybe I don't need to worry about that. The flagship's gonna get murdered in a moment. If it chooses not to move, that is.
Lightning strike. Aye, Admiral. Underway.
Good fire results there.
Reporting successful
Keep ramming.
action.
Ideally, oh. I have rally for you at least, so I'm okay there.
Acquiring new vector. Coordinates acknowledged.
And now murder sync quickly.
Orders have caused internal damage.
Because the flagship's about to burn to death.
Accumulated
They're mutinied.
50% of strategic points.
I think we're golden now.
Setting
And I
course.
forgot about my frigate. But that's not a huge loss yet.
Changing course.
And you are about to mutiny as well in a moment.
Ready.
So I think we're golden. We're just dealing with a lot of frigate damage still.
Assault crews report success.
And I can ram them well with my ramming spurs. This is just a bad
The
display.
enemy has accumulated
with me ramming
50%
myself.
of strategic points.
Your orders?
Alright, so all that's left to do is to grab the objectives,
Changing course.
clean up this mess for additional morale damage, ideally.
Course engaged.
And I have lances, so I should do pretty well at grabbing these points.
Engaging engines. Impossible.
I feel a little bit let down that I didn't do nearly as much damage with that full salvo of torpedoes. Like, I feel like that should have done a lot more. I almost feel like it should, but Brace for Impact, I wasn't really looking if Brace for Impact was in play or not. That should have at least took out over half its health. But still, that was the enjoyable match we wanted there at the very least. Nice, tense. They had no Culexus Assassin. Bit of an odd fleet with that said, with 3 Avengers and a bunch of frigates which, with their Prowl Lance, they can do a respectable amount of damage, but the enhanced vision, or at least being able to constantly get vision on target, doesn't really synergize with something that's so close range centric. I want to argue at least. Alright, another mirror match. And it's against, well, I almost want to say it's another name that I've recognized, but I seriously doubt it when it's like a bunch of random numbers and letters after all. But more Imperial Navy. At least I could say my fleet's kind of different enough to make these matches a little more interesting. And at the same time, Imperial Navy is probably one of the few mirror matches I would argue that might be the most enjoyable to watch. since there is a lot of torpedoes or reliance on getting those spur-of-the-moment torpedoes if your opponent ever overcommits, and never mind the variety of different fleet compositions you can get. I feel like anyway. But yeah, with ramming spurs, torpedoes, it is definitely intense regardless, I want to say. Whereas opposed to, what is it, some of the recent mirror matches I had there, it can be a little bit silly sometimes. Like I did with my first attempt with the Cao Yang fleet. Otherwise, everything's all assembled. I'll hold fire for now, and I don't know where I want to put this one frigate, but it's probably going to be spying for me. Now, first impressions for battleships. That is my first impression at least, so what do I actually prioritize with that said?
We serve.
If that is the case. Because I'm not likely going to get critical hits in general. Not often enough to really be able to take advantage of it. Oh, Emperors.
Your orders?
They're all Emperors, so we've had this matchup before. So I know how I kind of want to play this. We've seen it before, and I didn't even put a... Yeah, I want brace for impact stance to help mitigate this as much as possible.
We wait your command.
Keep my fleet in a nice death ball to help mitigate the fighters and bombers, and then just reveal them and chip them down. It's just going to be tricky for my... Oh, I probably should have stayed in lock-on stance since they're not going to be coming after me with the gas cloud.
We wait your command.
So I don't think I really had to worry. Actually, I'll let the Armageddons go in front, but not so far ahead that at least the battleship could still provide fire support. Alright, brace for impact. We are dealing with 16 fighter squadrons after all. And we'll worry about that later. Because what I want to do with my fighter squadrons is to hopefully deal with their bombers. And I did a terrible job with this frigate, I'm realizing too.
We serve. Maximum burn.
And I am revealed, that's not a big deal, but... Oh, you recalled your assault ships. Well, I was in a gas cloud anyway, so you figured they wouldn't do a whole lot regardless.
Ship ready.
Now, the sooner I reveal them, the better, actually, so let's take advantage of that, because when exactly am I in range?
Burn retros.
Helps if I could select my Armageddons with their turrets. That give me a little bit better tell.
We wait your command.
Since you have no gas clouds,
Changing course.
so revealing all four of them helps a ton. They just got ridiculous capture speed. And hopefully, I can punish them well if they're going to launch a lot of fighters on me. Well, if it's only one bomber squadron, that's...
Enemy sighted. Aye, Admiral.
So get these guys... Well, actually, let's get them all forward. Try and prepare for these attacks.
Burn retros.
Because here's what I'm going to do. Launch the fighters now. Hopefully intercept the bombers. That's what I would like most.
Your orders?
Perfect interception.
Ready. Engaging engines.
And we did get some decent hits at the same time,
We wait
although
your command.
my frigate is kind of useless at the moment.
Underway. Setting course.
And if I can hit somehow with a Nova Cannon, that'd be great. But not with this close proximity, I feel like.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Yeah, because my flagship, I want to try and
Coordinates
disrupt the
acknowledged.
bombs, or at least disrupt their shields.
We
So just
serve.
keep firing, keep doing damage, ideally. And maybe do some damage with the morale. Because I gotta keep in mind, these things have really good armor, or fit radar as well.
Coordinates acknowledged.
Oh yeah, and the beacon's currently marking me, so I forgot about that some.
Ship ready.
Alright.
Stood.
I have fighters, we're dealing with this pretty well.
We serve.
I just need to keep a frigate handy.
We wait your command. Engaging engines.
Because well, actually, I'm hoping these things are all focusing on what I want. Because once we start killing some of these ships, that'll help a ton. Just gotta spread out the damage as much as I can. In the meantime,
We serve. Fury interceptors in flight.
weapons getting destroyed, don't like that one bit.
Understood. Course engaged. Your orders?
Destroy them, please, I would like
Changing
that.
course.
And don't know if the apocalypse if my torpedoes are going to hit as much as I like. Okay, that answers that question, although I did carelessly burn a lot of my ability there.
Your orders?
And bombers are dealt with there easily enough. Or boarding parties, rather.
Ship ready. Heading acknowledged. Ship ready.
Now, can we kill this thing in good order?
Engaging engines. Burn retros.
Because I have torpedoes about to come up too, and I would like them to connect. Especially at such close proximity.
Your orders? Setting
Should have fired more melted torpedoes with that said, but
Burn retros.
those are good hits.
Aye, Admiral. Heading acknowledged. Aye, Admiral. Understood. Your orders?
Now, let's see what we could do about this flagship. Because my own flagship's kind of well out of the way, and I need to figure out which one's the dictator.
We serve. Engaging engines.
One ship gone there.
Your command.
I missed an opportunity for torpedoes, sadly, but
Burn retros.
hopefully the ram makes up for it. Another mutiny, perfect.
Understood.
More melted torpedoes. I don't need to tell you how effective these are going to be.
Head full. All is lost. Heading acknowledged. Ship ready.
Now just ram this thing. Double whammy. It's going to be a bit of a beating, but
Course engaged.
all the ships are breaking.
Serve.
I just need to get my own rally set up now,
The enemy has accumulated 25%
which I should be able to do easily
strategic
enough.
points.
Coordinates acknowledged. Starhawks loaded and sent.
Sadly, no torpedoes to really take advantage of this window is there, but
Your orders?
it's looking good.
We can't take much more.
Looking real good now.
Away.
Because now you panic, and guess what that does for me?
Execute high energy turn.
There.
One of our ships is gone, sir.
That is game. You and your heavy fighter spam means little. Although, they still did a fair amount of damage to me. Thankfully, it was not enough. It was certainly not enough. And they had Colexus Assassin, they had regeneration on their shields. But torpedoes and a lot of fires dealt with them handily. Ooh, orcs. You know how this is probably going to play out? With me running the hell away from any mega cannons they might have. And failing that, just trying to stay away from the prow and obliterate them faster than they can obliterate me. I know, that's the strategy you were not expecting, wasn't it? But it's the strategy I'm going to have to keep in mind since I am, again, all Lance-centric. So I do want to soften them up well before I actually commit. I am seriously wondering, though. I don't think I need a disruption bomb. Can a micro warp jump be useful here to get my battleship in a good position to help out? Since Novacan would be really important, I could force them to use their boosts their boost, but the amount of time it takes to position myself, and then of course I'm staying still for 10 seconds, might make that bad to kind of open up with. Never mind the fact I don't really use my torpedoes or Novacans that much anyway, it seems like in these few battles. It's only after the initial engagement when the chaos is unfolding that I kind of look for windows to fire Novacans. At least that's been my perspective, or at least my perception of how these battles have played so far. And it's not a terrible idea, it just feels like I'm not getting value for my apocalypse most of the time though, if I'm not spending at least 3 shots on it. And Kulex's Assassin is important. I want plasma bombs, I think that would be good. Actually, let me rotate this around is what I'm going to do. Make it a little more easier to just access the abilities.
Understood.
Alright.
We serve.
So grab the objective here.
Underway.
How many of these are frigates? 1, 2, 3. So these ought to be cruisers or battleships here. And then 3 more frigates on the left, if I had to guess. This is looking consistent with all battleships.
We wait your command.
All battleships with megacans at that.
We serve.
Oh, and I am getting an asteroid belt. That's a little unfortunate, but
Underway.
it is what it is. And hopefully I can reveal these fighters relatively well.
Heading
Maybe it was a
acknowledged.
mistake to not have the stasis bomb. But at the same time, this is not Evil Sun, so I don't have to worry about the big red button or the red ones go faster upgrade. So I can feel a little comfortable with that. But I want to reveal them, because why not?
We
And
wait
another
your
question,
command.
do I... How early do I want to fire my torpedoes with that said?
Aye, Admiral.
Since getting early damage, especially if I can force repairs, is definitely a big deal. And they do have a gas cloud, they're going to conceal themselves pretty quickly, at least most of their ships.
Your orders.
Alright, so these aren't megacans.
We serve.
So I got that going for me.
Coordinates acknowledged.
I have micro warp jump to maybe jump over here with this
Your
frigate.
orders?
You have seized a strategic area.
So maybe I could do something here.
Engaging engines.
Let me actually get ready with torpedoes. And I half kind of wanted to just grab this objective. Oh, that's a terrible idea with that said.
Your orders.
Just the close proximity of their ships is a terrible idea.
Ship ready.
And I want to fire torpedoes best I can here.
We serve.
So that damaged morale, that doesn't really mean much for the moment.
Burn retros.
And I gotta
The
make sure I'm
enemy has
out of
seized a
range of
strategic
lightning
area.
strikes, so... Let me just get ready.
Enemy sighted. Course engaged.
Now you guys get ready with your torpedo attacks,
We serve.
and let's make this work. This is a really awkward layout, I gotta keep in mind.
Targeting enemy vessel.
The enemy has seized a strategic area. You have seized a strategic area.
Now guys, get moving. I have a lot to ask of you here because of this tight formation.
Course engaged. Aye, Admiral.
And they don't have the slows to saps.
We serve.
Good hits there, couple of fire assaults. And they don't have, again, the slows to saps.
Underway.
So we can work with this some. I just gotta watch my health.
Engaging target. Burn retros.
And I'm nowhere nearby for Novacans, am I? Nope. But that will be corrected soon. because they just burnt their boost, so they
The
can't
enemy
say no
has
to
seized
this.
a strategic area.
Your
I
orders.
just gotta actually reveal them now, which shouldn't be too difficult because I didn't actually lose a fire squadron.
Flight.
And you burnt your rally, which is good for me.
Aye, Admiral.
Now rotate,
Engaging engines.
watch combustion gauge, and continue on with the assault.
We wait your command.
Since you don't have very much that you can do with crippling my shields quickly.
Course engaged.
20 seconds until another Nova can, so I kind of want to turn my broadside with that said.
Ready. Maximum burn.
Because I don't get... Yeah, I'm kind of forced to keep a distance here, but
Coordinates acknowledged.
they don't have tracked can, I want to say, because otherwise... Actually, let me check
The
that.
enemy is seizing
No
one of
tracked
your
can, so
strategic
that is my
areas.
one saving grace, I suppose. But this flagship is getting hammered. And we're going to continue on that in a moment.
Seized a strategic area.
Because this is a nice little setup here
All ahead forward.
for my torpedoes. Sadly, their shields came up at the perfect time for that plasma bomb.
Heading acknowledged. Burn retros.
Now this is going to hurt.
Setting course.
It's probably going to hurt me a lot too, with that said.
Changing course.
Okay, that was a good amount of damage. That was damn impressive damage. We're dealing with another
Underway.
simpler type of matchup, because I'm not dealing with mega cannons to take as a serious threat, but
Engaging engine.
I could do more ramming damage than you just because of my ramming spurs.
Initiate emergency repairs.
Now let's take advantage of that with that said.
Your orders? Coordinates.
And with that said, 6 seconds till torpedoes. Let's turn our heading.
Your orders?
Get ready to obliterate the flagship. Kulex's assassin, you do what you do best. Well, that was kind of like the worst use of a Kulex's assassin when they already mutinied.
Course.
But it's what happened nonetheless.
Lightning strike successful.
Well, that was brutal.
Assault crews report success.
That was goddamn brutal too.
The enemy has
In all
accumulated
honesty, would Tractor Can
25%
have really helped them in that
strategic
regard?
points.
It would have messed up my control. That's the big thing to note about the tractor cannon. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to turn and reorganize my ships, but it's something I could have easily dealt with, since it's no different than how I tried to shuffle my ships around just to absorb the shield damage a little bit better. I'd just take a little bit of ramming damage to try and dislodge them, since one ship ideally can do an all-head full, or failing that, just do a high energy turn if it's a really awkward type of ram. So I don't think a tracked can would have done much.